Howdy folks, welcome to another beautiful day out here in West Vancouver. We are heading down to John Lawson Park for a little braai later on, and I decided to make some braai broodjies, which is a firm South African favorite. You can't have a braai without braai broodjies, and I thought what I'll do is I'll show you how we make the best braai broodjies in the world. So a quick question is or a question you might have is, what is a braai broodjie if you're not a South African? So basically a braai broodjie translates to toasted sandwich. You can call it a toasted sandwich or a grilled sandwich, but it just doesn't do it justice. I mean, we have a very specific way of making our braai broodjies, and South Africans love an absolute braai broodjie. You know, we absolutely love it. It's just you stick it on the fire and it is just amazing. So generally at a braai, what you will do is you'll have all the meat on the grill first. You finish with that, and then there's a little bit of that meat sauce still on the grill, and then you throw your braai broodjies on top and you toast them, and then that's the best eating there is. I was actually going to show you how to make Belinda's famous potato salad, but the universe didn't want that to happen because I was chatting to my mom while I had the potatoes on the stove, and when I got back, I forgot about the potatoes. Old age, I guess. Anyway, when I got back, it was all mash. So here we go. For braai broodjies, what do we need? Well, we obviously need bread. We buy the Di Italiano. It's one of our favorites. Also, it's like $7 for two, so it's a good price. We are going to need some onions. We are going to need some tomatoes. And we are going to need some cheddar cheese slices. These are from Costco in bulk. And we're going to need some butter. And then one of the secret ingredients, Mrs. Ball's peach chutney. This is just the thing that takes it over the top. By the way, the Mrs. Ball's peach chutney is available from the South African shop, the southafricanshop.ca, if you want to order some of the South African goodies over there. Any which way, so peach chutney, very important. All right, so let's get cracking. Firstly, we're just going to slice everything up, and then we'll start the braai broodjies. We try and slice the onion nice and thin, because we don't want it too oniony, but onion is a must for a braai broodjie, although I know some people will disagree with me. There are definitely people that don't like the onion bit, but to me that's important. And then of course, while we're talking about braai broodjies, there's another thing about braai broodjies. When we are in South Africa, there's an extra ingredient that we actually put on sometimes, which makes it even better. And that is Mum remembered Melrose. So Melrose spreading cheese. I just haven't found a spreading cheese in Canada that is as good as Mum remembered Melrose. Melrose cheese. Remember those ads? Mum remembered Melrose. I love Melrose cheese. I mean, it's as processed as it gets, but I mean, us South Africans are not specifically known for loving all the healthy foods, I guess. We like our sugars, we like our processed cheeses, we like our processed sausages and Viennas and Russians and all of those things. So yeah. So a nice layer of Melrose cheese spread is like the perfect addition to a braai broodjie, but you don't get that over here because it's an animal product and we are not allowed to import animal products or anything from beef or meat or something like that. I don't know, Canada's got so many rules about all of these things, it's a little nuts, because I believe you can get Melrose and stuff in the US. You just order it and go fetch it on the other side of the border. Anyway, all right, so we're chopping up our onions, and then we're going to chop up our tomatoes. Luckily the cheese slices, I used to buy blocks of cheese, but finally I gave up. Finally I gave in, and I'm just like, screw it, just buy. I know it's more expensive, but it's just so much easier. when you work with proper cheese slices. It is a little bit more expensive though. I think it's about 15-20% more expensive to buy pre-sliced cheese. Luckily it's not that tough yet, financially. So we got some tomato. So yeah, we actually woke up this morning ready for this braai, and the weather has said that it's going to be beautiful sunny days until Tuesday, and suddenly this beautiful Sunday morning it is so misty that you can't see anything. So I was like, oh my gosh, the Weather Bureau has got it wrong. So I reached out to everybody that was coming to the braai and I said, hey, look, it's very misty, it's cold, are we still braaiing? And yeah, I mean, you know, South Africans, everybody was like, no way we're carrying a braai, we are still braaiing. So we are off to the braai, but I see it's starting to clear up now, which is cool. The weather is getting a little bit better. That's great. I think this should be enough. I must sharpen my knife again. Alright, so we got our tomato, we got our onion, we got our cheese. Let's lay out our bread. Still got a few things to sort out here before we head out. But so one of the things that you do with a braai broodjie is you butter the outside. I'll show you now. We don't butter the inside because the outside is going to go on the grill and we don't want it to burn onto the grill. So that's one of the tricks we use, but there's people that disagree with that too. There's always people that disagree with everything, I suppose. All right, so let's get this out here. How many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we can do about 10 because we do have, I think, about 6 people. And braai broodjies, just everybody loves the braai broodjie, so some people love it a little too much if you ask me. But anyway, here we go. Let's get the butter on. So what we normally do is we butter the outsides, and then we don't butter the inside at all. The only thing about this D'Italiano bread, or a lot of the breads here, it's like, I think it's probably skimpflation or shrinkflation. It's like the slices have gotten smaller. Those of you that don't know what shrinkflation means, it's like when people don't want to up the prices because everybody is, you know, people don't like paying more. So what they do is they just make the things smaller. Now, I gotta tell you, I look at this and I'm starting to think that there's a little bit of shrinkflation happening here. Because these D'Italiano breads, I remember the time when a bread slice was like, you know, a proper slice of bread. Anyway, how would we know? Funny, I heard something, another term that was coined recently called skimpflation. So this is the latest thing. Where companies that don't want to increase prices, so what they first did is they shrunk everything down, and now they are starting to replace some of the ingredients with lesser quality ingredients. So, you know, they're not using the top cocoa bean anymore, they're buying a cheaper cocoa bean. They're not worrying so much about the sustainably farmed and stuff like that. They're just kind of trying to cut down costs. Suppose it's easy to be, it's easier to be sustainable when there's not a financial downturn, I suppose. But yeah, so apparently that's the latest thing we got to deal with, is skimpflation, where the product looks the same, the size is the same, but suddenly the ingredients have been adjusted to be cheaper. Now, braai broodjies is not really, I mean, it's not rocket science to make a braai broodjie. The secret of a good braai broodjie is mostly in the ingredients, and then also how you braai it. So generally a braai broodjie tastes better on a wood fire, but we are heading to the beach, so today we're not going to do a wood fire, we'll just do it on the gas afterwards, so it's still going to be absolutely amazing. A lot of spreading butter. It is better to use proper butter and not margarine. I'm not a big fan of margarine. I'm not a big fan of the seed oils in my foods. Although, I mean, we use olive oil and stuff like that for cooking. Although lately we swapped over to coconut oil. I don't know anymore, you know. There's so many different health gurus that's got different stories they're telling you. Because we were watching this guy that said, like, the only things you should heat up is coconut oil and butter, because those are really the only oils that, the other oils, something happens when you heat them up. Breaks them down and makes them toxic. I don't know, if you have to listen to every expert out there, you'll probably end up not being able to eat or drink anything ever in your life. But anyway, we do what we do. Occasionally we listen to one and we see. Alright, so now that we got our breads buttered, we are going to start laying out all the ingredients. First thing we're going to do is we're going to start out with the chutney. Oh wait, actually let me show you how you pack these things in order to get them right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to flip them all over, close the butter on the butter, and I'll show you the reasoning behind it a little bit later. It's just for when we pack them over. So butter on butter, we just close all the little sandwiches. This one is tiny, so let's put the two tiny ones together and put the two bigger ones together. All right. Close all the butters. There we go. Now we are ready to start our layering of ingredients. The first thing we're going to do is our Mrs. Ball's peach chutney, Canadian approved. It's even got French on. We're going to put a little bit of Mrs. Ball's on each one. Don't go overboard, just a little dab. It just gives it that little bit of, it's just a little bit of sweetness. It's really nice. It is the secret ingredient, really. The only thing that can make it better is cheese spread. But like I said, I tried some of these Cheez-Its and stuff over here. It's just not Melrose. Look, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of other stuff over here that's much better than South African. Than the South African counterparts, but cheese spread is unfortunately not one of them. Alright, so we just have a thin chutney layer that we're spreading across everything, just to give it a little bit of that sweetness. Okay, some of them have got a slightly thicker layer. I'm not an exacto cook. Oh, that one looks like it's a little bit too little. Let's just put another dab on. All right. I think these ones I missed out a little bit. Also don't want to do too little chutney because you do need the flavor. Just add a bit more on these. There we go. Okay, so we got our chutney layer on, which is great. Next, we're going to do our onion layer. And you can be generous with the onions. We are heating it up, so it's going to remove the main onion, what do you call it, like the sharpness of the onion. And that's also why we put the onion on the outside, just out next to the chutney layer. Right. Oh, we cut all the onions. We might as well use all the onion. Personally, I don't think there can ever be too much onion on a braai broodjie. I know there's people that will disagree with me on that. But luckily, I am the one making these, so we're going to have some onion on them. There we go. Right, next up after the onion, we go our tomato. Just cover it nicely with tomato. And then, of course, another thing, once we have our tomato up, is we need to season the tomato a little bit. Alright, we're going to need some more tomato slices. Let's do that then. Ooh, wow. There we go. Is that going to do it? Still another one. Luckily, I don't mind eating the little leftover pieces of tomato, so I love a tomato. Yep, it's winter here, so I'm going to start getting my hydroponics ready so I can grow tomatoes and stuff indoors. Been slacking on that a little bit, to be honest. Okay, we've got our tomato up, and now we're going to season it. So just grab some salt and pepper. Now, I like flavor, so I season generously. I know that out here in Canada, a lot of people actually prefer less salt and stuff. But then, you know, each to his own, I suppose. And a good dose of pepper. There we go. And then lastly, the most important part, I suppose, the cheese. So this cheddar slices from Costco is a little bit brittle, unfortunately. So you've got to work with it nicely. But hey, it's still a lot easier than actually trying to cut your own cheese. So here we go. Let's get this up. You see what I mean? It likes to break into little pieces. But we'll live. You want to make sure that most of the cheese are on the bread, because obviously on the fire it's going to melt, and if it starts melting it can drip down, and you know, we don't want to waste cheese. So let's do that. So 1 slice of cheese is enough. You know, I know people that put more than 1 slice of cheese. If you do want it a lot more cheesy, I suppose you can do that. We found that 1 slice of cheese is just perfectly adequate. So, up to you. Like everything else in cooking, you know, the variety, there's a number of ways you can do it, and it really is up to you to decide how you want to do it. Alright, so let's get the cheese out the way, let's get this out the way. We're going to start packing it and get ready to take it to the barbecue or the braai. Oh, barbecue. Why did I say that? That's not right. So we're going to need a nice clear container. And basically what we're going to do is we are now going to close the sandwich. So we're going to put that down in our container like that. And we are going to put the top over it. But, you know, I can see on that one that there's a little bit of cheese sticking over, so I'm just breaking it out. I got too much stuff here. Let me move this out of the way so I can actually show you what I'm doing, because I don't know if that's showing. Alright, so here we are again. What we do is we take the top sandwich off, we put it down, and like I said, over here what I do is I just look at it and I see there's some cheese overhanging, so I break the little pieces off and I just put it on top. And then I put this one the wrong way around. And then I put this one with the butter side out. Sorry guys. We want the butter out because the butter is what's going to sit on the grill and make it grillable. Alright, let's back it like that so that it doesn't burn and doesn't stick to the grill. I don't know if this thing is going to be big enough here. Ooh, I'm going to need another container, it looks like. Alright. And we put the next layer on top. Now we have butter on butter. And that's going, you know, when we take it off, we must just be careful. But it generally works out. Alright. I really thought I was going to get more of them in this container. So I'm going to have to grab another container. Let's put some cheese there. There we go. Alright, let me just grab another container quickly. Alright, a second container. Put our bread like that, put the other one on top. Same here. And the same there. And last one over there. And there you have it, folks. That's how you make braai broodjies. I'll shoot how we braai them and then how we eat them. Okay, so there's it. We've got our braai broodjies on the grill, getting ready for a absolutely brilliant lunch.
I mean, the national bird of America, but there's more in Canada.
Okay, and there we go. That's a braai broodjie. Yeah.
Yummy, yummy.
Perfect braai broodjie, perfect setting.